understand this, you guys. The leadership we have here is bar none a 10 plus. And the fact that we even have this gentleman to come on stage to us, because he's all over the world, traveling, innovating, visionary, making things better for us every day. But as Glenn says, he gets to pick and choose where he gets to go now, and he's kind of happy about that. So I'm grateful that I don't even have to actually introduce this man. For those of you who haven't met him yet, this man is a legend. He's changed everybody's life sitting in this chair in this room right now. Are you guys excited about that? Yes, come on. Welcome to the stage, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who changed all of our lives, Glenn Sanford.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
And you gotta do your dance, Glenn. You gotta do your dance.
I think that Oakland show will be your last stop.
Good.
They cold foul. I don't know why you still pretending. What is that?
All right. They gave me a clicker, but I don't actually have any slides. See what happens when I click. Oh, it does do stuff. So I'll just leave it there. Okay, so yeah, no, I do get to fortunately choose where I go, and this is obviously it's great to be here. I think that's going to keep on flashing, so let's just move that along. Okay, there we go. So what a great day. I've been here pretty much the whole day, and you know, obviously, many of you know the story of EXP, but I will, for those of you who've heard it a bunch of times, you get to hear it again. So I'll you know, but if you haven't heard the story of why EXP got created, I think it's helpful. You know, as noted, you know, Wendy and Dylan and others, I mean, we started as real estate agents. Really the front-facing C-suite of EXP have been think like real estate agents. And why that's important is because they align with you in the decisions that they think about each and every day. In most boardrooms, in most companies, the conversation's not about how do we make this better for agents. It is, and by the way, we're a publicly traded company on NASDAQ, small cap 600 index. I mean, we've got all the accolades. We've been to NASDAQ a bunch of times. We've got you know, folks like Vanguard and BlackRock as shareholders on our cap table, which does create a little bit of a unique scenario because I basically have to protect our management team from all of the Wall Street crap, which is basically how do you charge your customer more money and how do you put more money back in the hands of shareholders? That's basically the whole gist of the whole thing. And I'm saying, hey, if you stick around here for the next 5 to 10 years, we'll do just that, but we're not doing it next quarter, probably not next year, and probably not even the year after that because we're so busy investing in agents. Our goal is to become the largest single residential real estate brokers in the world by being the most agent-centric real estate brokers in the world. And so, you know, I started as a real estate agent 23 years ago, April 29th, 2002. I started on a team. I came out of sort of really an internet marketing background. I was also I basically have an illness called entrepreneurship. I actually don't know how to actually have a job. Most of you probably can relate. That's why you're real estate professionals in the room. And when I did have a job, I got fired from both of them. So, you know, so it's, you know, so I'm kind of unemployable, but part of it's because entrepreneurs have a vision in their mind of what they want to show up in their life, and they're not willing to sacrifice it based on what other people around them want to sacrifice. It creates, it's a really, you don't want to actually live in an entrepreneur's head. I mean, because it gets kind of crazy up there. But I'd rather be a broke entrepreneur than somebody who's actually got a really well-paying job. That's just me. That's how I'm wired. And probably a lot of people here in this room, that's where you're at too. You'd rather have freedom and flexibility versus a really good corporate paycheck. Anybody with me? Okay. So, but somebody had to start EXP, and I did. And the reason why I did was because as I started as an agent in 2002, I joined with an entrepreneur's mindset, and I recognized very quickly that I was sold a bill of goods. When you went and met with your first sales manager or whoever, probably maybe not EXP, but it could have been. But if you how many of you came from another brokerage? Okay, how many of you, when you went to that brokerage, did they tell you you now own a real estate business? Hopefully a few people. I mean, that's, at least back in where I'm from, they say you now have a business. Okay, does that resonate? You have a business. Well, you did not have a business. You had a business that owned you. You know, because at the end of the day, if you didn't go out there and list and sell properties, you were fundamentally out of business. And so I recognized at a fairly early age that well, I guess I wasn't that early. I was 35 when I got my license, and so by about 37, I was like, this kind of sucks. And but the next thing to do was actually go start a real estate team. And many of you, many people up on stage actually built real estate teams. And John Sy was talking about the fact that his life kind of sucked at running a team. And so you learn fairly quickly that running a team is not, it's great for ego. Man, people going, oh, you did like whatever. Back in 2006, I did 60 million in production, which is, I don't know what that's equivalent to today, but it's probably like 250 million or something today in production. So it was a big number in production. But I made less money running a team than I did as a solo agent. So I quickly learned that running a team isn't really all it's cracked up to be. And I was running a business. So I took this thing pretty seriously. I did things that's still fairly atypical of real estate professionals. First thing I did is I put myself on salary. Anybody put yourself on salary in your own business? Okay, hopefully a few of you have. I actually created an LLC, S Corp, and I ran my business in that, because just creating that wrapper around your real estate business actually changes your mindset. And then I was the CEO of that business. I was a realtor, but I was also the CEO of the buyer tours team at Keller Williams, which was where I was doing that at. And by my fourth full year, I did that 60 million in production, top 50 in the nation with Keller. And then I realized, well, this team thing isn't working out. And I had 6 teams. I was a glutton for punishment yet again. But I decided to break out on my own and start a real estate brokerage. And that's where I learned the definition of a broker owner, because a broker owner is usually being a broker owner than they were as an agent. And that was 2007, going to 2008. In 2008, I definitely became a broker owner. Everybody, I think, became a broker something in 2008. But I came out of 2008, and I got rid of 4 of my offices that I had physical offices. We went to a skeleton crew, and we still had all these satellite teams, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for a real estate brokerage. And it was really that opportunity. I was 42 years old, which is, in my mind, is like the perfect age to build a business, because you now have enough experience to actually understand what works and doesn't work. You have no clue. If you're in your early 20s, you do not have a clue what works or doesn't work. You have theories, you might get lucky, but you have no clue why it worked and why you got lucky, or why it didn't work and what you should do next. By the time you get in your 40s, hopefully you actually got a clue. I thought I did. I think I did. It seems to work. But I went back and said, okay, if we're going to build this from scratch today, what would the real estate brokers need to look like for me to want to work there myself? And so the thing that was really appealing for me at Keller Williams was the 7-level profit share system. You'll hear me often use the word sucked, because it was another thing that sucked. It didn't actually work. It didn't actually pay out the way it was marketed. I'm sure in some offices that were profitable, it's a different story, but I wasn't in one of those offices, unfortunately. But we said, could we build a model that does revenue instead of profit? And we did the math, and we said, yeah, if we run a bricks and mortar-less business, we should have more margin that we can actually do predictable money on, and that became the basis of our revenue share model. We've obviously made a few tweaks over the years. We started with revenue share 1.0, 2019, 10 years later. We went to kind of, I'll call it revenue share 1.5, and this last year we rolled out revenue share 2.0, and it's been really it's been really great to get to this level, because now we've got a model that nobody can compete with. We've learned what we needed to learn through all of the years, but we've added so many different enhancements to the model. When you come in, you automatically have your first 3 levels open, so you're automatically getting revenue. When you bring in your first recruit into EXP, you're going to get a bump the first year to help them get up to speed and help them start to make money in the system. If you're a capper, you automatically get another level of income in the model. And if you're an icon, you automatically open up the whole thing. So it's super, super attractive to everybody at every level of production. All the rest of the model, hopefully everybody's heard about all the other pieces to it. But of course, Dylan was talking about co-sponsorship. And co-sponsorship is really the bomb. Right now, if you had somebody, a friend of yours in Vancouver, Canada, I'll use that for an example, and you go, hey, have you heard of EXP? And they might say, yeah, I've heard of it. I'd love to see if you might want to get involved with it. And they're going, well, you're not in my market. Well, I've got this guy that was on stage at this event. His name's John Sy. He's called the Beast. Have you heard of him? Oh yeah, John. Yeah, he's a great guy. Well, what if I could partner with John to actually bring you into EXP? Oh, you can do that? Oh, yeah, I can actually partner with anybody in EXP. So if there's somebody in your local market that is with EXP, I can partner with them to bring you into EXP. And it's incredible. We have a stack of people. I think it starts May 1st, if I'm not mistaken. Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's May 1st. There you are. But we already have a stack of people that are already in the co-sponsorship, like they're in the pipeline. They're so excited about this. And it really opens up for those who are not recruiters. And I would say that most people are probably going to raise their hand. Are you a recruiter or not a recruiter? Not a recruiter? Recruiter. Okay. So if a lot of people don't identify as a recruiter, but they don't mind partnering with the recruiter, somebody who can really support them, pour into them, get them motivated, be the beast in their life, whatever that looks like. But they can sort of partner with different people and different personas to bring agents in. So pretty excited about that. And really, it's going to be an incredible end of the year, agent attraction-wise, and then obviously going into 2026. I'm spending a lot of time in international. Some of you may have seen a little bit of the stuff that we're doing. We've really been ramping up quite a bit on the international front. We just launched Turkey last week. We launched Peru like 3 weeks ago. We haven't technically opened in Egypt, but there was a big event for EXP Egypt about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I think in June-ish, some time frame, and I know that which will mean a bunch to people here in Hawaii on the island. We're in the process of opening up Japan, so that's that's coming, and we tentatively is the June time frame. So again, pretty excited about it. I'm gonna go and shift gears here a little bit. First of all, the amount of content and training today in this room was off the chain. I was checking in, and none of the speakers that came here and maybe I should just ask, because I didn't ask directly, have any of the speakers been paid? All of the speakers came on their own dime. And if you think about what was delivered on this stage from people's heart to the people, to you in this room, this is a room that you should have paid $1,500 to be in, at least. And if we were to pay the speakers, and I say we, but really if Chris and Brent and the people who organized, if they would have paid the rates that the individuals that spoke on stage, it probably would have, to put this quality of people on stage would have been 4,000 or 5,000 a person. Like, it's pretty incredible what you heard here. You know, the stuff that Leo Robles was talking about, and AIing your business. If you're not AIing every part of your business in real time, you are getting left behind. It's not just about creating marketing content and doing, using AI on, Opus Clip Pro. It's about the whole package, the whole ball of wax, the whole picture of your business. You can fundamentally, if you're actively using AI, you can change the trajectory of your business on a dime. I've got this little thing here. You see, it's actually my limitless pendant. Anybody heard of the limitless pendant? Okay, so it's an AI that listens to everything that I do. So every single conversation, every single presentation that took place in the room, it's listening to it. So I can go in, which I kind of pre-did this a little bit, but I'll just see. I think I've got the results here, but I did a little bit of a pre-deal here. And I'm only saying this because I think this is the new future. And so I basically just asked, during the presentation days, what ideas should real estate agents implement in their business, organize and summarize under speaker names, summarize with each presentation's presentation. Leo Robles, use AI. to become an agent in your area, create a marketing update and videos. Justin Zamora, have the best attitude every day. When I wake up every morning, I make a non-negotiable agreement with myself. Non-negotiable agreement, I cannot negotiate to not have my best day of my life. Sarah, build a business based on connection and authenticity, not just for sales or sales pitches. Russ Lagan, turn yourself into a horse. Actually, it doesn't say that, but determine your greatest fear and write it down. Wendy, recognize that everyone is now a content creator. I'm just taking just the top line of this. Justice, who was just up here, connect with people on a real level and genuinely care about them. You think about the fact that many of you were like going, hey, this is great stuff. I need to be making notes. And was anybody else like recording it for AI purposes in the room? Okay, maybe 5 hands, 4 or 5 hands. So like I would say, if you can, well, not if you can, go get yourself an AI that actually listens to everything you do throughout your day. Like it will, and then start to actually take the transcripts and throw it into ChatGPT and match it against your business plan. Match it against what you're doing and query and say, hey, I'd like to take this thing that Sarah was talking about and I want to start to actually incorporate it into my plan. Leo talked about building a custom GPT. I have so many custom GPTs. It makes my eyes cross, but they are so powerful. And now in ChatGPT, you've got projects. So it's basically the same thing, but not as technical. But you put your business plan in your project files, and every day build around that business plan, and then re-upload that same content each and every day, and just keep on moving your business forward, and just have conversations with your AI, and just keep on moving your business forward. Literally, there's the part where you're building content. But there's the part where you're actually running your business using AI from the ground up. And the next generation of real estate professional is going to be AI native, and they will kick your ass if you're not taking this on quickly, because they'll know how to market faster, better, more real time. Every single marketing plan that they're going to be doing is one-to-one. There will no longer be one-to-many marketing. And it will eventually be AI talking to AI. And that's going to be the lead generation strategy probably of 2027, 2028. So a couple years from now, the marketing strategy will be, How can I connect my AI to your AI, or how can I query the AIs that are out there to figure out who's going to be the best real estate professional to match up with me? And you're not going to say that in AI terms. You're not going to use those terms. You're going to use English language. English language is the new modern programming language of the next generation. You can now build, and there's a really cool platform. I'm glad, Leo, you didn't mention it, because now I get to say something new on stage. But there's a platform called Lovable.dev. Anybody played with Lovable yet? Lovable, L-O-V-E, Lovable, A-B-L-E.dev. So when you get home, or when you get in front of your computer next, go to lovable.com and write a prompt, and I say write a prompt, but pretend you're talking to a developer, a website developer, and describe to them what you would like your real estate website to look like for a type of client that you want to work with. And it could be, I'm a real estate agent in Waikiki. I work with, I market condos close to the beach, which I understand aren't selling really well right now. So you definitely need a website for this. But and I want to make sure that I create walk scores for each of the properties that I actually market based on data. And just type that prompt in and just see what it creates for you. Literally, you're going to be able to build better websites today than you could have hired a web developer to do 3 months ago, who would still not be done today, and you'll have it done this afternoon. So that's kind of where we're at. We're really in this really crazy new world. As real estate professionals, there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. If you're not keeping up, it gets kind of scary, so keep up. Prompt a few AIs every day. That, in addition to all the other stuff that you do, your life will become dramatically better. And thank you, everyone, for, thank you, Chris, for inviting me. And I think I'm standing between you and all the other stuff that's going on here. So anyway, with that.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.